Okay, so in today's video, we're going to do a quick overview of this Isuzu box truck. We bought this box truck primarily for mowing, and I just want to go over kind of why we did it and some of the stuff we like about it and some of the stuff that we're probably going to change to it. So anyway, this is a 2020 Isuzu NRR. It's a 19,500 pound GVW. It's the bigger of the small cab overs, the low cab overs they have for Isuzu. It's got a diesel engine in it. It weighs in at like 15,000 pounds right now, fully loaded. I just ran it across the scale, about 16,000. 20-foot box on there, on the back, and it's 96 inches wide or so. I think the opening's a little bit smaller, but it's got 3-man cab, so plenty of seating in there. We got vinyl covers on the seats. It's an automatic. Let's go on the outside. So on this side, we mounted a buyer's toolbox. And within this is kind of our tool storage because we don't have a whole lot up inside. Gas cans, tire plug kit, some loppers, some stuff that needs to be cleaned out of here apparently. But that's kind of our tool section on the truck. This underbody toolbox. Because there's not really any storage inside. There could be, but you have to jump over top of mowers to get to it. And that wouldn't be any good. So we bought this truck used from Enterprise. It only had 88,000 miles on it, which is pretty low. Off in the back here, you'll see how this mumbo back here is for a lift gate that it had. And indeed this as well was a lift gate. We added these super box truck ramps to it. Now, with this is part of the lift gate extension. This actually should be bolted up here. But this would have been a lot of stuff to cut off. So we decided just to mount it to the back there, have a little bit bigger standing plate, which means we had to do this custom jobby right there. That needs to be modified right now. Some of the problems that we have is, with the system that it's supposed to be designed, there's supposed to be a pin coming out and both those hook up. Well, these shake a little bit. So we're going to modify it so it doesn't keep doing that, the shaking. So you can check these out online. Superlawntrucks.com has them. I will say the biggest problem that we've had with them is the shocks breaking. And I don't know what the point is of what, but the shocks and the ends are always breaking. Possibly because it's really kind of floppy back there until we get some of this play worked out of there. We might have to just deal with it. So anyway, back in here, we left the liftgate arm on. I have it chained up so it can't go anywhere. But we took the decking off. It's all just bolts on. Nothing got cut off. So we could easily just bolt everything back on if we wanted to sell it. The only welding that was done was these brackets right here were added. Those are in the way of the deck right, or the flip out ramp for the liftgate. But those are added. Custom brackets built on there so this would work. Down along this side of the truck, we added a cone holder, our traditional bow style cone holder. Nothing too crazy. And then down on this side here, it's just empty space right now. But I think I might fill that up. Thinking about building kind of a basket or a shelving in there with some expanded metal to put the lawn bags on it. I got to see how well they would fit in there. But kind of some open storage, just using some great material. One thing about having a box truck is you have no place for debris. So any debris you pick up, you got to find a home for it on site or something else, because you really can't put it in the truck, and I wouldn't put it in the truck anyway, causing fire hazards. So we might put a little box, not really a little box, probably be a 6-foot by 24 by 24 or something. Kind of a shelf there with a flap down door, kind of all mesh material, kind of like this gate, just to be able to put the lawn bags or put some sticks or branches or something that you accumulate. But overall, after a year, I don't think there's been really a whole lot that we've picked up. We've been able to kind of deal with it for the most part. So I'm going to put this ramp down and we'll take a look at the inside. Okay, so for the ramp, like I said, these are super box truck ramps. My bad. They're about 12 feet long, 10 or 12 feet long. And they have each a capacity of 750 pounds. So 750 here, 750 there, a grand total of 1,500, which is plenty enough for our mowers. We run the right ZKs. They're about 1,100. Put an operator on, they're 1,300. Even with our right vac, they're still capable of what we're doing. I did add a couple extra bolts here and there just for some strength. There was really no point in not. Probably could have added more. Still can. And, you know, this is the ramp. Let's open this box up. What do we got in here? Okay, so the box. Obviously, we're inside. We have a nice platform to be able to stand on. Right now, we have three 61-inch ZKs in here. The nice thing about the box truck is there's no fenders here. It's full width. It gets a little sketch sometimes backing down the ramp. If you have the angles, you know, if you're a little steep, it could be a little hairy. But you can turn these things right around in the trailer or the truck here and drive them out forward. So at least your operators aren't putting themselves at risk. On the back here, this is an old rack. I think this is about the green touch now. But I just added some wood for that. Branching across, that's screwed in. That's screwed into the existing wood up there. You got a first aid kit screwed. There's a lot of nice options to screw to the walls versus the trailers where you just got basically the trailers, they look like this with the posts up and down, and then they just throw like 3/8 plywood on it. So this has a lot more mounting. You know, see, I built some nice racks for rakes and stuff. These are blower racks. I wonder how that got all messed up. It's a good question. I don't know. I lost a screw. But anyway, got two blowers up there. You know, if they hug it to one side, you can squeeze up by. And that long bag in the front corner is what I was talking about, getting a mount for outside, you know, kind of a shelf or something to hang it on. So plenty of room. We got chains for when they get stuck. You know, some oil, earplugs, or gas there. Try not to store any gas in here. I know you probably saw the cam underneath my foot, but I think they just came out of fall and they haven't really reset yet. So it's really high in here, you know, compared to a truck or a trailer. I'm standing on top of the mower and I'm just barely touching the door. So lots of room. A lot of room for mounting too. If you needed to put other stuff in here too, you know, if you wanted to put hedge trimmers or a chainsaw or something up in the front, there's so much room inside this truck that it's like not a big deal. You got nice thick 3/4 inch wood. That also helps with the structure of it. But, you know, a kick plate almost, you know, for the mowers to bump into, stuff like that. It's pretty nice in here. So there's some lighting, but we don't use it because if you turn the lighting on, it kills the battery if you leave it on an accident because you don't know. You got a garage door type setup with the track coming down and the heavy duty latch. So we talked about putting a shelf up in the front, but you know what? We could still. We could put a high shelf and put the bags up top. You know, there's options. Where else are we? Over here. This is a vent. Should be open. Those vents were added. I cut those in and put rivets on. There's one in the front corner here. I had to see if I can zoom with this. Yeah, there we go. Had to cut out for the vent. That's all riveted in. So it's got some airflow. That was an additional thing that wasn't part of it. We talked about putting a side door in as well, and you can tell we didn't do that. It was going to cost $4 or $5 grand to do that, and it just didn't make any sense with what we had. So, because for us fueling, we have a fuel tank on the ground outside. The truck pulls up, and instead of doing $4 grand for the door, we were just going to put another length of hose on our nozzle, and 30 feet from the fuel pump would get us in to fuel all these mowers without having to take a single one off the trailer. So that was our own shop, that type of thing. Weed whacker string. It's not the nicest mowing setup out there. I know some of you guys go crazy with your racks and everything's perfect. This is just stuff we had, some stuff that was built custom. We kind of got this truck late in the year, so we weren't able to necessarily upfit everything perfect, but definitely some mods. I think a bench would be easy. to go from across there, or a shelf to put the bags on that would get all that stuff off the floor there. The push mowers are just in here for storage purposes, but they would typically have a push mower all the way up in the front, and then you get into debris. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily out. I think we could probably still put a shelf up in the front just for some extra stuff. But the more storage you had, the more crap you hold, and we don't necessarily need more crap to hold. So that's a look at the inside there. So overall, I think the box truck has been a success. There's a few things that could change. The main problem being those ramps. You can see they're not quite square to the truck. They were square. They need to be kind of secured in a little bit better. So that's one thing that's kind of an issue. Other than that, most of it's really nice. I mean, look at this billboard. I'm about 20 feet away from that truck right now. And that thing's a freaking billboard, man. You park this in somebody's yard or somebody's driveway on a main drag, and that thing stands out. It's a good-looking truck. You don't see a lot of box trucks running around either. And then as for height, it's about 12 foot tall. And for the most part, I think they told me there's only one place they can't go with it. They have to take a little bit of a longer route. But overall, it's pretty good. So that's our box truck. We'd probably do it again. Price point was much better than a truck and trailer combo. That's what we were up against. It looks pretty professional. It looks done up nice, obviously the billboard and whatnot. So would definitely recommend doing it if it's something you're interested in. Like I said, really depends on your debris load. We're not picking up anything or hauling away. We're not bagging grass clippings every week. If you did, you need another support vehicle to go with it, but that's not really anything we do. We can typically toss a stick in the woods somewhere or, deal with the clippings in other ways. So overall, I would recommend. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.